New tonight, the parents of a 19-year-old Tempe woman are shining a light on a dangerous trend after their daughter died from inhaling chemicals from an aerosol can.
This video is going to be a lot more informative than usual. I do want to start off by saying I heard about this situation from Matosi's channel, and when I heard about this story from him, I generally didn't know that this was a dangerous trend. But after doing a bit of research, I do want to talk about this topic in depth a little bit, because as someone who lives in America, this trend actually can kill people, and I think it's been a little too normalized. And it is a trend called dusting. Now, if you live in America, you probably know what dusting is, but dusting is what happens when you take compressed air or computer cleaner and try to sniff it for certain effects. I also want to clarify, absolutely do not do this at home, trust me. It is extremely dangerous, and as you're going to see in this video, can lead to someone's death. But the reason I want to cover this is because I didn't know that this was deadly until last night when I saw the video. And I also found alternate methods that people have been using that are just as dangerous. And I want to talk more about how this actually works so that people know not to do it. So without any further ado, let's begin. Please hit that subscribe button. It's totally free and it really does help out my channel. And it's one of the best ways you can support me.
New tonight, the parents of a 19-year-old Tempe woman are shining a light on a dangerous trend after their daughter died from inhaling chemicals from an aerosol can. 12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra is joining us in studio with their heartbreaking message to other parents. Gabby?
Well, Caribe, just 1 week ago, this young woman's parents didn't know what this trend called dusting was. Now they want to make sure all parents know the signs and symptoms.
She was just the light of my life.
Vibrant and vivacious is how Aaron and Dana O'Rourke described their 19-year-old daughter, Renna Kay.
She was just the most caring, beautiful soul I've ever known.
But on May 27th, their world flipped upside down. Renna went into cardiac arrest and was then declared brain dead after inhaling a common household cleaner.
We want to make sure that we use our tragedy so that no other parent ever has to experience looking at their child on life support and a ventilator and not breathing on her own, all because she huffed out of a can.
It's called dusting, getting high by inhaling aerosol dusters like keyboard cleaner. According to Poison Control, most inhalant abusers are teenagers, likely because the products are easily accessible.
My daughter and her boyfriend had door dashed product to my house, and I didn't know. It's keyboard cleaner.
Now, I know when someone dies due to a TikTok trend, the first instinct is to blame the parents, but you actually can't in this situation. Keyboard cleaner and air duster is a very common thing for kids to be buying. Lots of children have game consoles and computers that need to be cleaned off using it. In my room right now, I actually have some air duster. Also, if my microphone is louder, it's because I'm recording at a different time right now. But most parents aren't gonna see anything suspicious about buying a can of air duster. I will also say, in America, a lot of us are told that you can just snort air duster and get high off of it, not knowing that it's actually that dangerous. There's a good chunk of us who have never heard of a case of someone dying from it, so a lot of people might be misinformed as to how dangerous it really is.
I didn't know what they were doing with it.
Experts warn the chemicals in aerosol sprays can lead to heart failure within minutes.
It's not a matter of if, it will be a matter of when.
A light in the darkness for the O'Rourkes.
We're finding strength and a purpose.
Renna is an organ donor, saving at least 6 lives.
We've been told that her heart is going to a recipient in California, which is kind of beautiful because she was ultimately wanting to move to California, so in a way her heart's taking her there.
The O'Rourkes say Renna's memory will live with them forever, but they hope her legacy prevents future deaths from a dangerous trend.
But if her life is to mean anything, we are going to do what we can to prevent somebody else's child from being where ours is.
I also have heard that the O'Rourkes have a GoFundMe for their situation right now, so if you want to go donate to that, you can go search them up. I don't have the link to it. I personally don't have the link to it and wasn't able to find it, but if anyone wants to support them, I just want to let you know about that. But I also don't think people realize how this can actually kill you. So from what I was able to find, inhaling air duster can actually override the oxygen in your lungs and it takes it out of your system. Also, feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this. Also, keep in mind, air duster is extremely cold. If you shake it or move it too fast, it will freeze. freeze. Having something inside of your system that can freeze at a moment's notice is extremely deadly. If you were to consume this in any way, it would be fatal. But it works by displacing oxygen. Displacing the oxygen in your body can damage all your vital organs such as your kidney, your liver, and your heart. But probably the most important is going to be your heart and lungs because you need those to breathe and generate blood. Also, the feeling of euphoria and high you're going to get from doing this is going to be extremely short-lived, so it's not even worth it if you try to take the risk. But also, that feeling of euphoria is your oxygen being displaced. So even if you inhale it and you live, you're still putting your health in massive danger. Also, I want you to keep in mind how fast this works. Displacing oxygen doesn't take place in a matter of minutes or hours. When Raina took part in this trend, she collapsed within seconds. And living in a place like America, it's going to take paramedics at least 30 minutes to get to your house. The chances of a person living after taking part in a trend like this are very slim. But I don't believe kids think about this stuff because what they're going to do is they're going to see something on social media, they're going to want to do it because they want likes, and then they're just going to follow through without thinking of any consequences. And that's going to be very dangerous for children.
Rena's father, Aaron O'Rourke, shared, "She always said, 'I'm going to be famous, Dad.'"
It's clear that Rena wanted her name to be known. It's just unfortunate that this is the reason why. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of the stories I cover start off this way. It's like the whole "I'm going to be famous" mindset. And that's why there's just so many TikTokers end up either getting banned, arrested, becoming universally hated, or having a tragic ending like this. But this is just nothing short of a completely preventable tragedy. Rena didn't collapse a few days, hours, or even minutes after the first inhaling, but seconds. I'm sure that you can guess, but this can not only result in seizures, but, failure of the liver, heart, brain, and so on and so on. What's sudden sniffing death syndrome? Dr. Stephen Axe actually describes this as making your heart more susceptible to fight or flight stimuli, which can trigger an irregular and fatal heart rhythm. Your heart just may stop. And when that happens, it may be difficult to revive that person. You don't need to be addicted. You don't need to do it multiple times. One time, and if you're unlucky enough, you're gone forever. So doing this is essentially like playing Russian roulette with zero upside. So I'm making this video to give the extremely clear message: do not try inhalants. And if you're in school, never let a classmate do it either. Because this next part may sound unbelievable, but unfortunately it's true. In a 2024 study out of Michigan, a survey was conducted and had horrifying results. Around 4% of 8th graders admitted to have trying inhalants within the last year.
I did also say in the beginning of the video that there was another dangerous inhalant that people were trying to use, and I want to clarify, do not use it under any circumstance. And it's something that you would actually think people would know not to use, and it's bug spray. I shouldn't even have to explain why this is dangerous because bug spray is literally poison.
And obviously, kids this young have to have been learning about it from somewhere. Now, I could just be disconnected because I didn't grow up in the States. I grew up in Norway. But I can very confidently say that 0 people in my entire grade were doing inhalants like that, at least up until, even beyond 10th grade, I had no knowledge of it. But still, I'm worried social media is excelling trends like this.
Sadly, I do think TikTok played a huge role in this. If you actually go on TikTok right now and look up air duster huffing, there are still videos up there about people who are addicted to it, and not only that, there's actually a video of someone dying from it on there. And also, I'm gonna point out there's videos like this on YouTube as well. I understand things like this are not commonly gonna be on someone's For You page, and I understand some of the people who are quote-unquote dying from this on TikTok might just be satire videos, but it doesn't change the fact that kids will see certain things and try to imitate it regardless. You've probably noticed recently that TikTok's guidelines have been getting pushed beyond the limits. There are still videos on that platform that show blatant nudity and get pushed to the front of the For You page, and it's not fair. TikTok is a platform targeted towards kids, and I don't think that they should be seeing things like that on their For You page. But I want you to let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comments below, and if you're a parent and you have a child that has TikTok on their phone, make sure that they come to you before they try doing any trends so that you can monitor if it's safe or not. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for the support. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as it really does help me out, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.